The future is here. A battle between man and machine is already underway. A battle to save our planet from climate change. Man versus machine is the name of the game. And in this corner, we have Team AI, the artificial intelligence squad taking on Team Fossil Fuels, an army that's been waging war on our planet for decades. And it's no secret that fossil fuels are the main cause of global warming. Burning coal, oil and gas releases harmful gases into our atmosphere, trapping heat and causing temperatures to rise. In fact, human activities have increased the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by 50% since the Industrial Revolution. As a result, we've seen rising sea levels, more extreme weather events, and disruptions to our planet's delicate balance. But fear not, because in the other corner, we have Team AI, a squad of intelligent machines ready to tackle this challenge head-on. These AI-powered tools can analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and make predictions about future climate change impacts with incredible accuracy. They can also help us develop new technologies and strategies for reducing emissions and adapting to the changes that are already happening. In this battle, Team AI has some pretty powerful weapons at its disposal. Let's start with AI-powered satellites. These satellites can collect data on everything from greenhouse gas emissions to changes in ice coverage and vegetation. For example, the European Space Agency's Sentinel satellites have been monitoring changes in Earth's land cover and use with unprecedented detail since 2014. By analyzing the data collected by these satellites, we can track deforestation, urbanization, and other changes that affect our planet's climate. Another weapon in Team AI's arsenal is AI-driven climate modeling. By feeding massive amounts of data into complex computer models, AI algorithms can simulate past, present, and future climate scenarios. This can help us understand the impacts of climate change and develop effective mitigation and adaptation strategies. For example, the Climate Action Tracker uses AI to project future emissions and temperature scenarios based on current trends and policies. But perhaps the most exciting development in this battle is the use of AI to develop new technologies for capturing and storing carbon dioxide. One promising approach is direct air capture, which uses machines to pull carbon dioxide directly out of the atmosphere. This technology is still in its early stages, but several companies are already working on commercializing it. Alright, so Team AI has some serious firepower. But what about Team Fossil Fuels? What weapons do they have in their arsenal? Well, one of their biggest advantages is that fossil fuels are cheap and abundant. For decades, we've relied on coal, oil, and gas to power our homes, businesses, and transportation systems. And these fuels are still widely used around the world today. But as the impacts of climate change become more severe, governments and businesses are starting to take notice. Many countries have set ambitious goals for reducing emissions and investing in renewable energy sources like solar and wind. And while this transition away from fossil fuels is underway, Team Fossil Fuels is still putting up a fight. One of their tactics is to spread misinformation and doubt about the science of climate change. For years, fossil fuel companies have funded groups that have spread doubt about the reality and severity of climate change. This has led to confusion and inaction, allowing Team Fossil Fuels to continue business as usual. Another tactic is to lobby governments to roll back environmental regulations and invest in fossil fuel infrastructure. For example, fossil fuel companies have lobbied the U.S. government to approve the construction of new pipelines, which would transport oil and gas from one place to another. These pipelines not only leak methane, a potent greenhouse gas, but they also carry crude oil that can spill and contaminate the environment. Despite these tactics, Team AI is not giving up. In fact, they're developing new ways to fight back against Team Fossil Fuels. One approach is to use AI to detect and flag fake news and misinformation about climate change. By identifying and countering false information, we can help people understand the real science behind climate change and the urgency of the situation. Another approach is to use AI to hold fossil fuel companies accountable for their actions. AI-powered tools can track and analyze the activities of these companies, allowing investors, consumers, and regulators to make informed decisions. For example, One company uses AI to track the greenhouse gas emissions of companies and provide investors with information about their environmental impact. So the battle between AI and fossil fuels is heating up and the stakes couldn't be higher. But in the end, it's clear that Team AI has the tools and technology to win this war. It's just a matter of using them to their full potential. But wait, there's more to the story. There's another player on the field, one that could tip the scales in favor of Team AI, big oil. That's right. Some of the world's largest oil companies are investing heavily in AI research and development. And they are using their deep pockets and industry expertise to develop new AI-powered solutions for reducing emissions and fighting climate change. For example, Shell has invested in a startup that uses AI to optimize the efficiency of buildings, reducing energy consumption and costs for building owners. BP, on the other hand, has invested in a company that uses AI to predict and prevent oil spills, protecting the environment and the company's reputation. Even ExxonMobil, one of the most notorious fossil fuel companies, has invested in a startup that uses AI to reduce methane emissions from natural gas operations. But why are these companies investing in AI? It's simple. They see the writing on the wall. Governments and investors are putting pressure on them to reduce their environmental impact and invest in clean energy. And they know that AI is the key to making that transition smoothly. By investing in AI, these companies can develop new technologies that reduce emissions, improve efficiency, and provide valuable data about the environment. And let's face it, these companies have a lot of money. In fact, the 6 major oil companies have received more than $2 trillion in investments over the past decade. That kind of money can make a real difference in the fight against climate change. Take, for example, the carbon dioxide removal (CDR) industry. This industry is focused on developing technologies that pull carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and store it away safely. One promising approach is to inject carbon dioxide deep into the ground, where it can be trapped for thousands of years. Another approach is to use machines to pull carbon dioxide out of the air and convert it into solid materials like concrete. These technologies are still in their early stages, but they have the potential to make a big impact. And guess who's investing in them? Big Oil. In fact, these companies have invested in more than 30 different CDR startups. They are betting that this industry will grow rapidly in the coming years, and they want to be on the cutting edge. But why should we trust these companies? After all, they've been polluting the planet for decades and profiting from the misery of others. Well, here's the thing. Whether we like it or not, these companies have a lot of money and expertise. They have the resources to develop and deploy AI-powered solutions that can make a real difference in the fight against climate change. The question is, how do we make sure that they use that power responsibly? How do we ensure that they are investing in the right things and using their influence to drive positive change? Well, the answer is transparency and accountability. We need to hold these companies accountable for their past actions, but also give them the space to invest in new technologies that benefit society. We need to work with them to develop clear goals and metrics for reducing emissions and improving efficiency. And we need to make sure that they're held accountable if they don't meet those goals. That means pushing for more transparency and reporting requirements, as well as stronger regulations and enforcement. It also means engaging with these companies directly and working to build a shared vision for a sustainable future. Ultimately, we need to recognize that we're all in this together. We can't solve climate change by demonizing entire industries or by relying on governments to do everything. We need to work together, including with some of the world's biggest polluters, to develop and deploy the technologies that will protect our planet for future generations. So is AI the future of climate change solutions? Absolutely. Can big oil help or hinder that future? Most definitely. Will they choose wisely? Only time will tell. If you liked this video, please subscribe and comment below on who you think will win the war, Team AI or Team Fossil Fuels. If you want to know more about how AI is being used in various sectors, check out our other videos as well. Thanks for watching.